Good morning, everyone. My name is Moataz Sedky. Greetings from sunny Cairo, downtown Egypt. I'm very happy today and honored to present at the IVTM. I hope I will be taking you in such interesting topic. Hopefully that both of us will be benefiting from the information I'm going to present today. All right, so we're giving it a few seconds and then we will start so that we can have more audience and more attention to the start of the first presentation. All right, today we are going to talk about a very interesting topic that might interest the people who works in travel industry in Egypt and the Middle East. It's a research and professional remarks about the economical impact that affect sports tourism and sustainability. If we talk about sports tourism, I can say that it plays an important role in the development of the national economy of many countries. Honestly speaking, many countries around the world are competing to win the bidding of hosting major events like Olympic Games or the Football World Cup. If we look at the impact of hosting such events to any country, we will find that it affects the country infrastructure, building new stadiums, sports facilities, and providing employment for the youth. Unfortunately, sports and travel industry has been always very limited in research and studies. In spite of the growing research recently in the field of travel and tourism, however, there is a still big shortage in this subject of sports tourism. Hosting and branding sports events automatically create a lot of interest. It generates obviously a large amount of foreign currency to the hosting country. And for sure, it creates enormous media interest. However, success stories in this field needs good project management and high quality marketing concept. All right, I can summarize 6 main reasons why government should spend more money into promoting the travel sports events. Number one, it attracts more tourists to the country. Number two, it fills the gap in the off-season time. It also attracts a strong media presence to talk about the country and this event. And for sure, the country will engage live entertainment like musicals and movie stars and singers. This will add more and more services and engaging more people. Number 5, it's definitely encouraging the repeaters to return back as visitors once again to the country. I mean, in a simple understanding that you will have a motive to repeat your visit to the country one more time. Number 6, it creates a digital excitement and popularity to specific target audience. I would say, frankly, that those reasons are quite enough to increase the number of tourists to any destination. Overall, I believe Egypt activities of sports are varying between recreational sports tourism, competitive sport tourism, and exciting sports tourism. In a nutshell, let's define each one of those expressions in a simple definition and meaning. First of all, recreational sports tourism is about beach water activities like yachting, sailing, kiting, diving. Competitive sports tourism is including, definitely, as you know, hosting tourism events and competitions like the African Cup of Nations football that took place in 2019, or another example, the World Cup that took place in 2021 in handball in Egypt. It is such an exciting sports tourism that includes selling tickets, attending many events, sponsorship, merchandise. I would say that this presentation we are doing now identifies the main factors that affect tourists, or let's say affects tourist intention to visit Egypt for the purpose of sports tourism. We also can demonstrate the capabilities that allow Egypt to compete strongly with other countries, I mean neighbor countries, in both hosting and organizing those sports events. Overall, tourism is an important tourist attraction, as well as major sports events like marathon, football, handball also plays a vital role in attracting good number of tourists. Developing such sports activities in modern society requires true professionals to coordinate and maximize global benefits and economical returns. I would say the aim of this study is to understand more about sports tourism conceptions while emphasizing on some common sports, using a survey to point out the factors affecting sports tourism for Egyptians and other nationalities. Let's talk about the beautiful Red Sea and the water sports. As you can see that we have a responsibility towards sea life and areas of accommodation. Many of you knows diving and snorkeling as a part of recreational sports tourism is the fastest growing sector globally. The dive industry represents a big economic opportunity, but also brings environment risks. Therefore, the Egyptian government at the environment conference that will take place in Sharm el-Sheikh number 27 agenda are studying cases and plans towards the social and ethical dimensions of sustainability, which is becoming increasingly important issues. In fact, not only for everyday's life, but also travel and holidays. Looking at the Red Sea in general and the water sports, we can say simply that sports activities has been always based on sun and beach, which allow us to think of great range of ecosystems improvement. If we look at the Red Sea water sports, I would say a successful marketing policy to highlight the potential of the Red Sea governorates is to encourage investors to invest in this field of sports and tourism. I have to confirm that the media plays unfortunately, a very weak role in highlighting the importance of sports in rising national income. Despite of the availability of natural resources within the governorate, especially the governorate of the Red Sea and Sinai, due to the high touristic demand, we cannot say that there is a real sports tourism that can achieve global popularity to compete strongly in hosting international tournaments. I would say that Egypt, especially the Sinai and the Red Sea, can easily become a destination for international team camps from various sports due to the sunny fresh water most of the year, very good climate. But this can be achieved if a strong infrastructure will be available by year 2030. I would like to talk about how far sports events can be attractive on social media. Recently, the Egyptian Ministry of Youth and Sports created a link uh, gathering together all those major events like the Pyramids Marathon. It was the online team of this event noticed a very fast bookings of all places with great interesting in participating. There was participants from over 20 countries showed that the comprehensive marketing, especially via social media, had a wide impact where thousands of participants registered the first time for this challenge, also with only a virtual communication. The conclusion is 93% of the participants were active sports tourists, while only 7% were passive, which means that they're not really athlete or professionals, or they compete in different marathons around the world. So we would say that normal people were 7, and athletes, the people who will compete, were 93. This shows that sports became a lifestyle with a significant proportion of community. At the end, we suggest more future research agenda to understand the sports tourism conceptions, and to evaluate some attractive activities and emphasize various common sports. If we talk about the strategy for sustainable development, Egypt Vision 2030, Egypt's extensive development agenda and roadmap in this economic, environmental, and socio-economic fields. The Ministry of Youth and Sports presents its experiences since 2021 up to the end of the Agenda 2030, with the aim to make Egypt better known as a visitor destination through specific sports events, and to become a model of sustainability in the MENA region, which means Middle East and North Africa, and the Mediterranean region. Let's have a look on the 5 different programs that the Egyptian Ministry of Youth and Sports is developing. Number 1, Joining International Fairs program, which enhanced the range of participation experience with Ministry of Tourism to create a new profile and penetrate new markets for the products of sports tourism events and adventure sports. Number 2, branded and marketing oriented event programs, which includes the development of culture and leisure events in order to increase the attractiveness of Egyptian tourist destination. Number 3, business and well-being program, which creates an infrastructure that can host big training camps and international gatherings in a collaboration with the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities. Number 4, we have a high value added program which merges the hotels in selected cities together with the ministry sports facilities as an extension of hotel services and use for marketing. Number 5, there is a program that exists already called VAL. This program provides opportunities to directly experience and enjoy nature tailored to sports tourism sector. I would say this it's all about reef corals and beach destination in the Red Sea and Sinai. Finally, we can say that there is a possibility to create competitive sports and tourism events to enhance the awareness of Egypt nature value, as well as diversifying and strengthening sustainability criteria. Let's have a look on the promising factors and is it coming soon? Egypt witnessing an impressive development in roads and transportation, also in electricity and sanitation, which eventually will bear heavy tourism associated with sports events. Clarity with database showing the actual size of sports tourism in Egypt will increase the awareness of such industry that relates to sports tourism. This awareness in a larger proportion of the community, especially in the area which is far from the traditional element of attractions, as well as increasing the number of companies that will be interested in sports festivals and sports tourism programs. Eventually, this will encourage private investments to focus in certain areas away from the local population in places like South Sinai and the Red Sea. Now, the magic word, sustainability. Many of you have heard the word sustainability in many projects, not necessarily sports and tourism, but in many areas of our life these days. Sustainability is a definition of life. If we talk about this report, we can say that how sports tourism can contribute to poverty in all its forms everywhere. Obviously, if we talk about poverty, then having sports events in the country will create or open door for jobs and income opportunities. Additionally, the tourists who will arrive to the country will start to spend money here and there, buying things not necessarily inside hotels, but in local random areas where people are in need to see non-Egyptians buying their products. Sustainability has to do with destination competitiveness. Sports tourism can enhance any destination attractiveness and competitiveness. For sure, this goes by expanding the destination tourism offering, which means that you have a unique products where can attract people to come. Eventually, this will help increasing the length of stay and spending of visitors during and after the event. We need to discuss something that has to do with sustainable sports tourism, what needs to be considered when we develop a sustainable tourism, a sustainable sports tourism. It has to support the local communities in partnership with the local authority involvement. If we encourage the local entrepreneurs and utilizing local products, this eventually will help minimize economic leakage and maximize local benefits. We can say that employees for sports tourism are often required to have special skills, especially like instructors and guides. So you have to have the right people for the right event or to make this event successful. This leads us to the philosophy of expanded business opportunities, which is like it will have an effect by local SMEs. It is necessary to provide them with the business advice and microfinance. I mean, to how to help them to make or to create a success stories. The highlight of the sports events or the main attraction is football. When a sports event is planned, the type and size need to be appropriate based on the capacity and characteristics of the destination, which means that the timing and the venue of the sports, the sports event or the match or the competition should be considered with the objectives of the event taken into account. We need to consider combining any sports activities with the local culture and gastronomy and offering an opportunity for the community to interact with the locals, or an opportunity to allow visitors to interact actively within the locals. Are we going to forget the residents? No, for sure not. It is preferable to promote sports activities not only to visitors but also to local residents for sure to maintain or to be able to care about local health and well-being of their own. It also brings opportunities for the locals to interact, which enhance visitor satisfaction and local pride in this sense, so that sports opportunity for those locals can develop much wider. Going back to sustainability also, we have to include enabling the other half of the society, the women, and the consideration of women is very important in this area of business. It is crucial and important to provide training and microfinance for women to enhance empowerment of women into those areas of programs. And again, we can't forget the sustainable use of natural resources, which sports tourism must be developed taking into account the sustainability of natural resources, including the biodiversity. If we talk about environmental measures, we have to mention that the organizers of such events should make the best efforts in taking environmental measures, for example, to use motors and other equipment with less, preferably no emissions of CO2. I would say noise, to reuse or to recycle sport equipment, and to restrict use of hazardous materials, like many objects that cannot be recycled. If we talk about sports resorts and events, should be managed in a concept of environmentally friendly way. We need to talk about also efficient water use, efficient energy use, waste management, recycling, etc., etc. All those are important elements of making the event eco-friendly. Finally, and before we go, promoting mutual understanding, sports provides encounters between people of diverse culture backgrounds from all over the world. It let them interact with each other through sports activities, and it can foster friendship and mutual understanding in the big world. كان معكم معتز صدقي من القاهرة. Thank you very much for being with us, and I hope all the materials given and translated was of good help to you. Thank you again, and I wish you a very good day.
Moataz Sedky with you from Cairo downtown. أتمنى إنه المادة اللي قدمتها لكم النهاردة كانت مفيدة ليكم، وأتمنى لكم يوم سعيد.